Okay, Summer on the Farm Block of the Month. This is the last month of kits, and a lot of fun doing it. But today I'm going to show you how to do the little bunting blocks, and they're a lot of fun to do. I'll get set up here in just a minute and show you. To do the bunting block, you're going to go to page 12 of your pattern book, and it will explain how to do it using the templates that they give you here in the back of the book. So if you're going to use these, you could trace these onto template plastic and then trace around them on your fabric, cut them out, and then sew them together according to these directions. They will be pieced together pretty much the way I'm going to show you, but with the V-block tool, they will be oversized and trimmed up very nicely. So I'm going to skip over to that. I'm going to put this away for now. This is the V-block trimmer from Studio 180, Deb Tucker, one of Deb Tucker's tools right here. Okay, this is my favorite, and I'm going to kind of go through this step by step with you, reading the directions so you know what to do. Okay, so these blocks for this quilt are 4 inches. So when you look at your instruction sheet with the V-block trimmer, the finished size is 4 inches, unfinished trim size is 4.5. So this measures 4.5 both ways. You're going to cut your strips 4.5 inches.
Editor here, you will cut your strips 5 inches. Susan does correct this later in the video, but again, you will cut your strips 5 inches.
Now, we showed you how to do this in the block where we did the house block, and it had a little gable at the top. You just made one there, so you wouldn't use a whole strip of fabric. We did it just using squares, and you could do it this way this month as well with squares, but you don't have to because you're going to make more than one out of a color. Okay, so we're going to start out here cutting the strips. Just determine the finished size of the V-block unit. We decided that was 4 inches. Locate the area on the ruler that lists the finished size unit. So right here on this ruler, I'm going to put paper in it so you can see the 4-inch finished unit. Cut strips 5 inches. Okay, cut both the center triangle strips and the side triangle strips the listed size. So here are my side triangle strips here, the white. It's the ones on the sides. And then the center triangle are my prints. Okay, cutting the center triangles. Layer fabric no more than 2 layers deep. So what I'm going to do is just take one piece here, fold it in half, that's 2 layers, because I'm going to actually get 4 of them out of this, 4 triangles. Fold the ends as shown in the illustration deep enough to accommodate the slanted cut. So here I'm going to fold this over like that, and then I'm going to see if my slanted cut will fit on there. 4-inch size, and no, it does not. It comes out here, my edge is here, so I have to move this over a little bit like that and see if that works. And it does. It's just right. If it was a little further out, that would be fine, but not too much or you'll run out of room to cut more. Okay, position the ruler on the strip so that the dashed line, this dashed line here, labeled fold line for center triangles, is right there on my fold. Okay. So that dashed line is on the fold. This says 4-inch finished unit, and I'm going to cut that. Whoops, didn't get all the way through. Didn't really want to separate those, but that's all right. Okay, so there we go. We have 2 of them. Okay, then we will okay, so if you're left-handed, there's directions in here on how you will position all this for left-handed people. But for a right-handed person like me, that's what I'm showing. Trim along the slanted edge. We just did that. And then we're going to move, put those to the side, flip top to bottom if you're right-handed. We're not going to go like that. We're going to go like this for a right-handed person, and left to right if you're left-handed. So with this position like this, you're going to take your ruler, again I'll show you, center triangle trim line. There's a diagonal line right across here. So I'm going to put that right there on that line I just cut. Got my 4-inch finished unit line right down there at the bottom of this. And I'm going to cut, hold this down, cut across there. And I've got 2 more. So you want to get 4 from each strip that we've given you in your kit. There is enough here left over that you can cut 1 more. I wouldn't do it just yet. Wait until see if you need it, and you would need it only if you really mess up on something pretty bad. Okay, so we have those cut. Now we're going to cut the side triangles. So we're going to take the white one here, place these 2 strips facing right sides together or wrong sides together, because you want them to be in mirror images in pairs. Now this has no right or wrong side to it, so it doesn't really matter. So we're going to put this on here, and so now we're going to clean up one edge of this. So I'm going to take a straight ruler here, put it on the line of the mat, and clean that up. Right, get rid of that. Then we're going to take this ruler again, cut line for side triangles. It's a bolder, solid line. That is going to go right here. I'm kind of going off the edge of my table here, so I'm going to move all this over a little bit. I'm going to put that bold line right there on that cut edge I just cleaned up. 4-inch finished line right there at the bottom. Notice at the top there's a little flat spot up there, okay? You're not going to have a pointy triangle. So I'm going to cut across there. And we've got 2 of those. If you had a right side to your fabric, you'd have opposite designs there, mirror images. Okay, then we're going to leave that as it is, and I'm going to turn this over and use the other side of the triangle. And this can be a little confusing. This is not a bad ruler at all, but until you get used to it. So what you're going to do is you're not going to look for any measurement that says 4 or 4.5 inches or anything. You're going to just put this ruler right here, and the reason you know that you have it there and not along here somewhere is you don't want this big wide edge at the top. You want what you're going to get right here. Okay, so that will give you that little edge, so it'll look just like that. Put that on there. And you got 2 more. We're going to go over here, go back over to the dotted line, 4-inch line down there. Whoops, I did that wrong, didn't I? Okay, there you go. I did that wrong. So I'm going to clean up my edge again, because that's what I want. I want to put my solid line over here. So what you will do is probably cut out all of your print triangles first, then switch over and change your way of thinking. Do that. And then I'll turn this over to this line right here that goes all the way down to there. And put that on there and cut some more, and then we run out. Okay, so we have all these side triangles right here. Now it's time to start sewing. So we will take the center triangle and 2 side triangles, and they're going to go on there like this. Okay, you're not going to put them on like that. They're going to go like this. So what the pattern, the instructions tells you to do is line the slanted cut edges tip to tip. Okay, what does tip to tip mean? That means you take this point here and this point here, and they're lined up exactly. Okay, does that show up pretty well? Okay, those are lined up exactly. You don't try to accommodate for a 1/4 inch in there like you often do when you're sewing triangles. Okay, so then that's going to be down there like that. All right, and we're going to sew that. Quarter-inch seam. Make sure your machine is set for an accurate 1/4 inch. Turn my iron back on. Okay, see how the tip of the triangle goes right there to the tip of that flat edge, and then these tips are right together there. Okay, so we're going to take that to the iron. Set my seam and then press it towards the side triangle. Okay, notice what we have down here at the bottom. It goes a little bit further down, which is fine. That's exactly what you want for now. Okay, now we're going to take this one and we're going to put it right on there, and see how it lines up very nicely with the little dog ear that sticks out up there. Okay, that goes there, and that one looks the same down there, and we're going to come back and sew this one. All right, there we go. We're going to press that again. And we're almost finished. Now we come back to our ruler, and let me see if I can remember what we do here. Okay, we're going to take the ruler. I'm going to go to this side of it now, and I'm going to lay, let's see, this has to be upside down so it doesn't look like that to you, but it's upside down to me. The point is facing me. I'm going to go to the line here that says 4 on it, because we're doing a 4-inch finished block. So that says 4. These diagonal lines here are right on the seam line, right there. And another way I know that it's 4 is accurate is because it just gives me a little bit on all 4 sides to trim up. I'll hold this down, trim 2 sides, turn it around. Don't turn the ruler around. Then you go over here where it says 4 1/2. So don't let that confuse you. You use the 4 for the first one, but now we're trimming it up to 4 1/2 inches. Notice right here we have a little bit of side triangle extending past the seam on the edge there. Okay, so 4 1/2 inches. Don't think my cutter's quite sharp enough. Okay, there we go. Again, you have a little bit extending on the sides. You have to have that so that when you put these together, you have the seam coming right to the corner of your unit when you sew them together. If not, you would have a little gap. You want the gap now. All right. Okay, now you're ready to put all of your blocks together. That will be on page 44, and what it does is tells you the following blocks that you need, so make sure you have all those. And then on page 45 it says putting it all together. Quilt centerpiece number 1, you're taking those bunting blocks, you're going to sew them together with the little sashing pieces. And I think I will show you those. First of all, let me hold it up. This is again what our quilt's going to look like. And it looks like it might be tricky putting it together, but they have them done in sections. So I'm going to set that aside right here. Now, in each kit, each month, you got a fat 1/8 to use for your, what do they call them? The little low volume 2-inch squares. She said to cut them into 2-inch squares. In the very first month, I suggested you wait and cut it into strips. Cut into strips then, or wait and do it later, rather than 2-inch squares. If you cut it into 2-inch squares, that's fine. But I thought it would be easier to sew it, the 2-inch squares, into strips, 3 or 4 together. I wouldn't do any more than that. And then have different combinations of them. And then just start cutting them up into units. So, let's see, that's just barely gonna work there. I'm gonna clean up my edge here. And then I'm gonna take a ruler and cut 2-inch units like this, and then just go all the way across. And because you have probably maybe a dozen different prints to use, then you can mix them all up and have throughout the whole quilt they'll all be different, but then just put them together like this. So we'll cut that all up, and then when you start putting them together, for example, along here, you're going to put several together because they're going to go across your bunting strip here. Others, don't just look at the quilt and decide how to put those together. Follow the directions in the book. So it starts out with the bunting one, then it goes on to the apples and pears on the sides. It'll tell you which what to do there. So you'll put bunting strips down both sides of here, and then little strips to connect sections of 2 and 2 like that. With the flags, you're just going to put them across here. When I started doing this, I thought, oh, these are at the top of the barn in the truck. No, they're not. They're at the bottom of the flag. So do it that way. So you'll put all those together in sections, and then you get over here to page 13, and it will just kind of guide you through laying those out. So you have, starting in here, let's see, on page 52, it's been about a year since I've done this. On page 52, they give you which pieces to sew together in sections. And so just follow that, and it'll just kind of take you from the middle outwards, and put them all together, and then press it nicely. Find a fun backing for it, anything you want, any color that coordinates with what you have on the front. And the binding is included in your kit. And let us know if you have any questions. But it was a lot of fun to make, and I know a lot of you have had fun doing it because I've heard from you and have really enjoyed it too. So I hope this video was helpful in getting this all put together, and we'll do another one sometime.